Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition, and we're going to talk about the need for real IRL champions that are going to save humanity. And where are they going to come from? All right, so let's talk about this. So, I watched the Lightyear trailer, and I'll tell you right now, tears rolled down my face when I watched it, for two reasons. First reason is not great, but I'll tell it to you. I don't know about you guys. I'm just being honest and open with you. Since March 2020, I've been a lot more emotional than I used to be. I just feel like the world is a lot more full of suck since that date, and it has affected me, right? So, like, used to be things that would get me misty-eyed. Now there's tears rolling down my face, or give me a frown. Now there's tears rolling down my face. It made me cry. I watched the Lightyear trailer and I cried. Right now, why did I cry? Beyond the world just sucking a lot more since March 2020. Well, I'll tell you, I care a lot about space. I care a tremendous amount about space. And I've had a genuine interest in space since I was 7 years old, right? And before, it was like an interest in space, but now, I don't know about you guys, but I read a lot of news, and I listen to the New York Audio Digest, and I listen to Slate Political Gabfest, and there's a bunch of media sources now are saying, hey, guess what? This planet's going to die, and humanity could be gone in 50 years. Like, tons of sources are like, literally, the future of humanity is on the block, right? If we will exist as a species, right? This Earth could melt in 50 years if these things aren't done. Oh, and guess what? These things aren't being done. Right? So I know that sounds like like I'm exaggerating. I'm not. Like, this is coming from major news sources, right? All right. So, that means that my interest in getting us to Mars, which used to be like just it'd be cool. Now it's like, we desperately need this to happen, right? Like, so if you have a planet and everything's going to melt and the whole species is going to die, go get a new planet. And guess what? 2 parsecs to the right, there's a planet called Mars. We need to be on it. We need half our population on it in 20 years, right? So that's so everybody's quibbling about hummus and electric cars. I don't want to hear any of that noise. I want a real solution, right? Like, if your house is burning down, you don't stay in it, right? You go get a new house, right? So I care a lot about space, right? And I'm like, and the reason why I cried is Lightyear's like, let's go to a new planet, right? And they just show you how exciting and cool and awesome that would be. And for us, it would literally be life-saving now, right? And I'm like, my best hope is in a Disney cartoon. Because right now, there ain't a country in the world that can put boots on Mars. Could put boots on the moon, let alone boots on Mars, right? So where does that leave us, right? So you hear me keep saying, Dungeons & Dragons isn't a game, it's a life path. Why do I keep saying that, right? Well, Dungeons & Dragons, more than anything in the world right now, from a secular perspective, I'm an evangelical Christian, right? You know what? Whatever happens, I'm covered, right? I'm going to be with Jesus above, in heaven, wearing a super dope crown and a cool white robe, walking on jasmine, right? Like, I'm covered, right? But the reality is, I want this earth to live, and I want humanity to live, right? And I want something for my grandkids, right? So I don't want to say, hey, y'all's got to sign on to Christianity. I want there to be real world solutions for all humans, no matter what their faith is, right? And so that means it has to be a secular solution, right? So where is the IRL champions that are going to save humanity, right? Well, what's the source where they could be generated? Okay, the traditional sources where they could be generated. What has humanity looked at, for the last 100 years? 3 sources. Government, actually, politicians, please save us. Journalists, please save us. Scientists, please save us, okay? Let's talk about those groups, right? First of all, scientists, clap, clap, clap. You guys are doing amazing. You're doing a fantastic job. Your work is awesome. Doesn't matter, because by the time you finish your work and you have your data and you are going to give it to the public, it's got to go through the media and it's got to go through politicians. And by the time it gets through those 2 shredding machines, everything you accomplished as a scientist is pretty much gone, right? Like, nobody believes the data sources, nobody trusts what comes through the media and and the politicians. So scientists can't save us, not because they're not the best, most awesome people in the world, but because they completely and utterly fail to get their message through the filter of the media and the politicians. Is the media going to save us? Oh, heck to the no. No. There are no journalists coming to save us. Are there any politicians coming to save us? I've been taking a look. The ones we got right now don't seem any better than the ones we had 4 years ago, right? Like, actually, they're a little better. They're a little better, right? But not nearly. Actually, I want to say that very specifically. The one we got right now is definitely better than when we had 4 years ago, okay? But not even within the realm of being an IRL real champion that can save humanity. I'm not sure he's possible of skipping his next nap. Like, I don't think this is the dude who's going to get us to Mars. Legit, right? Now, with all that said, he is definitely better than the Joker we had 4 years ago. All right. So, where are we going to get him? Where are you going to get IRL champions who will save humanity? Guess what? I know a source. I know a group of people, dungeon masters and dungeon players, who look at life through a secular lens. What is that lens? Combat, interaction, exploration. And they're saying, we have to, and they spent 47 years mastering the knowledge of combat. They know everything there is to know about every weapon on the planet, right? And I'll tell you right now, I think there's more knowledge generally in the group of dungeon masters and dungeon players about weapons, historical and current, than probably any other group on the planet. I really think that's the case, right? Because we have just incredibly myopic focus on it, right? But right now, people are starting to say, what if we took the same level of intensity, right? The same creativity, the same intelligence, the same charismatic ability to spread ideas, and we looked at interaction and exploration. And with this one right here, with this problem, and right now, to get to Mars, you know what we need? We need incredibly cool, fast, innovative solutions for exploration and interaction. We have to get past our prejudices, and we have to get past our ideas of what can't be done and get to what can be done. And I'm telling you right now, I think that the dungeon masters and dungeon players on this planet are humanity's last best hope, right? And I know everybody's out there like, Scott, it's just a game. And I'm telling you, we ain't got time for that. We ain't got time for that. There's nobody left, okay? I understand that you think it's strange that I would say a group of that the dungeon masters of the world and the dungeon players of the world are the last chance for real IRL champions that will that can save humanity. And what I mean by that is getting half our population onto Mars in 20 years. But if you think my idea is bad, I want you to think for a second how you think we're going to get there, relying on the scientists who are wonderful but utterly fail to get the truth and the wisdom of their work out through the filter of the media and the politicians. Do you truly believe that real heroes, the scientists, can possibly overcome the shredding machines that the media and the politicians are for their wisdom and their real ideas? Do you really think that the politicians and the media are going to allow the scientists to be the heroes we need? They will not. But guess what? I'll tell you right now, I think this planet and the structures we have, if an IRL champion or a group of champions who can save humanity emerges from the mists of the Dungeons and Dragons game, that will shock everybody. They will have the ability. They will have a surprise round. They will have a surprise round to allow incredible ideas, incredible. The other thing is, we already have the tech, right? All we need is the will. And guess what? Dungeon masters and dungeon players are perfect for spreading cool, innovative messages and improving people's will to do something. We, dungeon masters and dungeon players today, Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, dungeon masters and Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition dungeon players, we are humanity's last, greatest hope. And we got 20 years to change the situation. And we do that first by getting our own community to see that Dungeons & Dragons is not a game. It is far more. One of the things it clearly appears to be now is a solution to the very real reality that people are wondering if humans will live on this planet in 50 years. That's not an exaggeration. That is the UN. That is the New York Times. That is multiple, news sources saying it's a real possibility if we don't do this, this, and this, we will all die, right? I'm saying Dungeons & Dragons, Dungeon Masters, 5th edition, Dungeons & Dragons, Dungeon Players, 5th edition, are a real solution to solve this real problem. And because nobody expects it except Scott Garibay, we're going to get a surprise round. All that's my opinion. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.